Please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
You may take your seat. Please speak loudly and clearly. Or Brandon, if you can, adjust the microphone for her if she needs it.
Will you tell us your name and spell it for the court reporter, please?
Patricia Byrd.
Thank you.
P-A-T-R-I-C-I-A. Byrd, B-Y-R-D.
And are you in custody at Leon County Jail?
Yes.
Are you in custody for violating your probation on a felony case?
Yes.
And is it your understanding that for that felony case, if you were convicted as charged, that you could receive up to 15 years in prison for that felony?
Yes.
And is that felony that you're in custody for, is that the only felony that you've been convicted of?
Yes. I have a pending case.
Thank you. So do you also have another pending case?
Yes.
That you haven't been convicted of yet, but it is still pending?
Yes.
And that pending case, is that case in Wakulla County?
Yes.
For that case, if you're convicted as charged in that case, could you receive up to 5 years in prison for that case?
Yes.
Okay. And the one that you're in custody on from Leon County is the only felony you've been convicted of then?
Yes.
Have you received any offer or promises in exchange for your testimony in this case?
No.
Were you in custody with Donna Adelson?
Yes, I was.
For about how long?
Maybe about 6 or 7 months.
And was this at Leon County Jail?
Yes.
Were you and Donna Adelson in the same pod?
Yes.
What does that mean?
We're in the same, it's an open pod, it's an open bay where a lot of bunk beds are together.
Okay, so a lot of women are in there together.
Yes.
Okay, so you sleep in the same room as some of these women.
Yes.
And how close did you sleep to Donna Adelson?
Right next to her.
All right, and if you're in the same pod, do you have your meals together with the other women in the pod?
Yes.
Do you have like your downtime where you're watching TV or reading or writing, all those things together with the same women in the pod?
Yes.
When you were in the same pod with Donna Adelson for those months, did you become friendly with her?
Yes.
How often would you talk to her?
Every day, all day.
Who else was she close to in the pod?
Drina, Bernhardt.
Okay. Did she have a couple of other people she was close to as well?
Yes.
Were you and Drina the closest?
Yes.
To her, I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Once you and Donna Adelson became close friends, did she ever talk to you about her pending case, this case?
She did.
When y'all would have those conversations, did you ever outright ask her whether she did what she's accused of?
I did.
And what did she say to that?
She said she did. It was to keep her grandkids, but it wasn't supposed to go that far.
Okay. So she said she did do it, and she did it to keep her grandkids.
Yes.
But she didn't expect it to go this far.
Yes.
Did Donna Adelson ever ask if you were ever in custody with a woman named Katherine Magbanua?
Yes, she did.
And were you ever in custody with Katherine Magbanua?
Yes.
Was that several years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
And about how long were you in custody with Magbanua for?
About a year or two.
Now, did you tell Donna Adelson that? Did you let her know that you had been in custody with Magbanua?
Yes.
Since you had been in custody with Magbanua, once Donna Adelson knew that, what did Donna Adelson want you to do?
She wanted me to say that Magbanua told me when we killed him, I knew my boyfriend's parents had money.
Okay, so basically, she and some other people did this crime, and they did it because her boyfriend's parents had money.
Yes.
Who did she want you to tell that to?
She wanted me to tell it to whoever came up and asked me about it, and the investigators.
Okay. Did she offer you anything in exchange for you providing that information?
Yes.
What did she offer you?
a trailer and some land, and she would have her husband fix my teeth.
Okay. So, like, if you got out of custody, she'd help you buy a trailer and land,
Yes,
and that her husband could fix your teeth,
yes,
like veneers.
yes.
Now, was any of that true as far as did Magbanua ever say those things to you?
No, she did not.
Did Donna Adelson give you other gifts while in custody?
Yes,
Like what?
she would buy canteen, and she would bring it over to my bed.
What's canteen?
Canteen is food that we buy off commissary,
Okay. It's kind of like chips and candy and other things that
and
you...
noodles and stuff like that.
Okay. But it costs money to buy those things.
Yes,
Okay. But she would buy those or extra and she'd give it to you.
yes.
Now, did you ever speak to her attorneys or investigators who came to the jail to see what information that you had?
Yes,
Okay. Do you remember whether you spoke to a man or a woman?
it was a woman.
Did you tell them the information you told us today?
I did.
Did you tell them that that information that Magbanua said was true or not true?
It was not true.
Okay. But that Donna Adelson wanted you to say that?
Yes, ma'am.
Who else did those people for the defense who came to see who may have information, who else did they speak to?
They spoke to Lindsay Bernhardt and Brittany Purcell and Cassidy Conroy.
Did they speak to Drina Bernhardt?
Yes, they did.
Did you tell your attorney what was going on as far as Donna Adelson wanting you to provide this information that was not true?
I'm not sure if I told him.
I'm talking about your attorney.
My attorney?
Yeah, did you tell your attorney at some point?
Yes.
Okay. Once you told your attorney that, did an investigator from the state attorney's office come speak to you to get more information about what happened?
They did.
And did you tell him everything that you told us today?
I did.
Just a second.
Cross-examination.
Just want to go. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
You testified that you spoke with a investigator, a woman. Was the woman white or black?
She was black.
Okay. Do you remember testifying in a hearing on this matter a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember saying that she was white?
Yes. I was confused.
You were confused by the question, or you were confused about the race of the investigator that you spoke with?
It was about the question.
Okay. And isn't it true that you also spoke with a male investigator last August?
Yes.
Okay. And that was about less than a month after you moved into the pod with Miss Adelson?
To the next part with Miss Adelson.
No, we're talking in originally. That was about a month after you moved into the pod with Miss Adelson.
Yes.
Okay. And you spoke with that first investigator, the male.
Yes.
Okay. And it's your testimony that at that point in time, Miss Adelson had already offered you money, land, and a trailer.
Yes.
Okay. And you told that to that first investigator.
I did.
Okay. So on August, I believe it was August 30th of 2024, your testimony is that you told the first investigator, the man, about that offer.
I did.
Okay. Did you also tell him that the information that you were saying about Miss Magbanua was false?
I did.
All of it.
I did.
Okay. Isn't it true that you've also testified that in fact Miss Magbanua was manipulative?
I did.
And is that true?
It is.
Now you testified that my client admitted doing it and that it was to keep her grandkids, but it wasn't supposed to go that far.
Correct.
Okay. Now, isn't it true that the only thing that she did was write checks to Miss Magbanua?
I'm not sure.
Isn't that what she told you?
Not sure.
Haven't you previously said that Miss Adelson, my client, did not plan the murder?
Correct.
How many times did you meet with an investigator from the any of the defense attorneys in this case?
Could you repeat the question?
How many times have you met with an investigator from any of the defense attorneys' offices?
Twice.
Remember previously testifying that someone from the defense attorney's office came 4 or 5 times.
No, I did not.
How many times did a female investigator come to speak with you?
Once.
Do you remember testifying previously that you said a female investigator came twice?
If I said it, then that's what it was.
Can I get a page of mine?
I don't have it.
Please show the witness the prior statement or testimony so she can explain, deny, or admit.
Just a moment, Your Honor. I'll refer you, I believe it's the April 1st or 2nd interview with Investigator Newland and Pat Sanford at the Leon County Detention Center, page 20. And we'll start with the female investigator, lines 16 through 18. May I approach the witness? Did you say something differently when you first met with the representative of the state attorney's office?
I did.
So, when you first met with the state attorney's office representatives and Special Agent Sanford, when asked how many times the defense investigators come to see you, you said 4 or 5, correct?
Correct.
And then how many times did the female investigator come to speak to you? You said twice.
Correct.
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Byrd, you've testified that you were incarcerated with my client for 6 to 7 months. How much of that time were you actually sleeping in the bed next to her?
Somewhere in between 3 to maybe 4 months.
The jail records reflect something differently. Would they be more accurate?
Could be.
Could be more accurate, or they
Yeah.
are?
They are, because we were.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Redirect examination.
Sir, will you finish what you were going to say, please?
We were in 2 different pods together.
Okay. So, did you sleep together, or I'm sorry, sleep in the same pod as her, sleep next to her in one pod and sleep further from her in another pod? What do you mean?
I slept next to her in one pod, and then we slept in the same section in another part of the jail.
Okay. So, when you're sleeping in the same section from someone, are you still in the same room with them?
Yes.
Okay. Despite whether you were sleeping next to her or a few beds over from her, did you guys still have downtime each day in the pod together?
Yes.
Okay. And did you talk most of the day, every day, for several months at a time?
On a regular basis.
All right. Regardless of how many times the defense sent investigators to talk to you, you did speak to them multiple times.
Yes.
And you also spoke to state attorney's office investigators, is that right?
Yes.
And your own attorney?
Yes.
And you've testified at a prior proceeding as well?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Donna Adelson whether she wrote checks to Katherine Magbanua, or did you ask her whether she did what they're accused her of doing?
I asked her if she did what they accused her of.
Okay. And she said yes.
And she said yes.
Thank you.
Next step down, will this witness be recalled by the party? Fails.
Potentially, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Byrd, you may be called again by the defense. Please call your next witness.
State calls Drina Bernhardt.
Please raise your right hand, Ms. Bernhardt. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, sir.
You can take your seat. Please speak loudly and clearly. You can adjust the microphone if you need to.
Yeah, please say your name and spell your name.
Drina Bernhardt, DrinaBernhardt.
Ms. Bernhardt, are you currently incarcerated in the Leon County Jail?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And are you in currently on 2 different felony cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On the first case I want to ask you about is the VOP, or violation of probation case. Is that one of your open cases?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that a second-degree felony punishable by up to 15 years in prison?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then also a third-degree felony is also pending, punishable by up to an additional 5 years. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
right? Okay. And are both of those cases totally unrelated to the murder case that we're here about in this courtroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I want to ask if you've been promised anything by myself or any member of my team in exchange for your testimony here today.
No, ma'am.
So any leniency or any help with your case, anything like that?
No.
Okay. Has anyone promised you anything?
No.
Okay. Is this your first stint in the Leon County Jail?
No, it's not.
Have you been in and out of jail quite a few times?
I have.
Okay. Do you have 27 prior convictions involving either felonies or crimes of dishonesty?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you recently incarcerated in the Leon County Jail with Donna Adelson?
Yes, I was.
And did you become friendly with her during the time that you were both in the jail together?
Yes.
How long were you together in the jail?
I can't remember exactly. Maybe around 4 months.
All right, were you in the same pod that whole 4 months?
Yes.
And when you're in the pod together in jail, is it easier to become friendly than it is on the outside?
Yes.
Why is that?
We work together 24/7, so.
All right, can you describe your friendship with Mrs. Adelson?
Yes, initially it was very nice. She actually called me her jail daughter, and she and I got close. And how much more detail do you want?
Well, by close, did you talk to each other about personal things, like your
Yes.
life?
Yes.
Okay. And did she have a nickname for you besides her jail daughter?
Yes, Sunshine.
Did she paint pictures for you and write notes to you and things like that?
Yes, ma'am.
And approach and show you what I marked as State's Exhibit 61. This is one of the pieces of art and letters that she wrote to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge asked you to know in State 61.
No objection. There you are. State 61 is the
Permission to publish.
mayor.
So is this her initials down here?
Yes, ma'am.
And on the back, is that a little note to you?
Yes, it is.
Dear Drina, I hope your life will be filled with love, joy, and flowers. You deserve only the best because you are the best. Love, Donna. Is that what you wrote?
Yes.
And did you return this type of favor and make little art and things for her as well?
Probably, yes.
Did she ever talk to you about her grandchildren?
Yes, she did.
And did she tell you anything about the type of relationship that she had specifically with the children of the deceased in this case?
Yes, she said she was very close with them, and every now and then she would call them her children.
Okay, and I want to ask you about whether Mrs. Adelson, during the time that you all were friendly, ever discussed her case with you.
Yes.
Okay, and was her bringing up her case something that she did a lot, or was it only one time?
It was often.
Okay, so it was something that she was
Doing
talking
a lot.
about daily.
Yes.
Okay, and was it a bunch of different aspects of her case she would talk about, or only one thing?
It was different aspects.
At some point, did you end up reaching out to law enforcement to report some of the things that she had been saying to you about her case?
Yes, I did.
And why did you do that?
Well, initially I did it for selfish reasons, but more that I spent time with Donna, I realized that it was morally correct and I wanted to get justice for the Markel family.
Okay, so you felt it was the right thing to do, but you were also hoping to get something out of it.
Yes.
And what kind of thing were you hoping to get out of it?
Just help, lighter sentence, maybe rehab.
Okay, and are you still hoping that might be the outcome for you?
Maybe, but right now I'm more interested in justice for the Markell family.
Did Donna Adelson ever talk to you when she was talking about her case? Did she ever mention any concerns about the testimony of her son, Rob Adelson?
She did. She said she was extremely worried about his testimony.
Okay, so that was something that she brought up often or only
Yeah.
one time?
A few times.
Okay. Did she ever mention to you a state witness by the name of Katherine Magbanua?
Yes.
And was Ms. Magbanua somebody that was known to you?
Yes, I knew Miss Magbanua from being locked up with her years before.
And how did she first bring up Magbanua to you, or did you bring Magbanua to her?
I can't remember exactly how it was brought up. I just know that it was brought to her attention.
Brought to her attention that you knew Magbanua?
Yeah.
Okay. And at some point, did the defendant try to recruit you to become a witness for her in this case?
Yes.
How did she first approach you about that?
She asked me if I would be willing to do it, and I said yes.
Okay. And was this topic discussed one time or more than one time?
More than once.
How many times can you estimate? A lot?
A lot, yes.
Okay. And what is it that she wanted you to testify about?
She wanted me to testify about numerous different things about Kay, mostly about Miss Magbanua.
And Miss Magbanua, you knew her by the nickname Kay?
Yes,
Okay. And so she had some things she wanted you to say about Kay.
correct.
At some point, did she prepare a script for you of exactly what she wanted you to testify to?
She did.
I'm going to approach and show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit 62. Do you recognize State 62?
I do.
Is this the script that was prepared for you by Ms. Wilson?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Voted out as State 62.
Any objection?
No objection.
State 62 is admitted.
And published.
Get back.
Whose notebook is this?
That's mine.
Whose handwriting is this on this first page?
That's Donna's, Miss Adelson.
Okay, so she wrote this in your notebook.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is it you were supposed to do with this information?
I was supposed to study it and answer it correctly on the stand.
So this is what she wanted you to say in court.
Yes, ma'am.
So for example, how did you know Donna Adelson? You were supposed to say everyone knew her. She's been on the news. I've seen and heard about this on TV shows and read it in the newspaper over the years.
Correct.
Do you read the newspaper?
No.
Okay. Did you know much about her or her case prior to coming in contact with her in the Leon County Jail?
No, ma'am.
And what were you supposed to do with this physical script?
I was supposed to copy it down and give it back to her.
Okay, copy it into your own handwriting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you provide this item to my office?
Yes, ma'am.
And was it copied and returned to you?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do with it once you returned with the original to Leon County Jail?
Return it to her.
I'm gonna go down a paragraph here. It says that you approached Mrs. Adelson and told her you had information about Kay that you wanted to give her. Is that true?
No.
This says that Kay told you that she told Charlie on the night of the murder that some friends of hers went to Tallahassee and killed him. Did Kay ever tell you that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. She asked him to give her the 1/3 of $1 million that he was going to pay his sister so that she could relocate with her children to Miami. He went crazy on her. He said that that was going to be an offer to his brother-in-law not to kill him. Did Kay ever say any of that to you?
No, ma'am.
And then over here continues, but she convinced him that the murderers think a woman is paying for this. They don't know Charlie. She told him she wouldn't tell her friends who he is. She can keep him safe. So she was, according to this story, extorting money out of Charlie, but he didn't know it. He thought she was his friend, but really she was his enemy. Is that the deal?
Yes, I suppose that's what it's supposed to be.
All right, and did Katherine Magbanua ever say any of that to you?
No.
Do you know, are you familiar at all with Charlie Adelson's trial or his trial testimony?
No,
There's a part on here that says, here, she laughed about how easy it was to extort, and extort is underlined. Did you underline that, or did Mrs. Adelson underline that?
I didn't underline it.
Okay. How easy it was to extort him for the money. He wouldn't have to take her out to a fancy dinner. She could buy plenty of fancy dinners with the $1/3 She said she fooled her baby daddy and she fooled Charlie. Sigfredo would do anything for her, and he did. All right, so again, sorry to keep asking the same question, but did Kay say any of this to
No.
you? Okay. Charlie was scared and easy to extort. What a stupid fool. He believed her that she was keeping him safe from the killers. Ha ha, what a joke. Is that the type of language that Katherine Magbanua would use?
No.
Do you know her well enough to tell this jury that she wouldn't say something like, you know, what a stupid fool, ha ha, what a joke?
Yeah, she wouldn't talk like that.
But that's what Mrs. Adelson wanted you to come in and tell this jury.
Yes, ma'am.
Did she give you anything or promise you anything in exchange for reciting this script?
While I was in jail, I received packages and phone calls, and I was promised things as well.
What type of packages?
Packages are in jail just like a bunch of basically gas station food, but it's exciting when you're in jail.
Okay, and what about phone calls? What do you mean by that?
Just the phone calls are very expensive from jail, so she would let me use her phone to call my mother and other people.
Okay, and you said she promised you other things in the future. What other types of things?
$10,000, a grand piano.
What else?
She promised me cameras, but
None of that came to fruition.
no.
Okay. And what about pills? Did she mention anything to you about pills?
Yes, that if I needed pills, that I could call a doctor named, I think Obed, I think that's his name.
Okay.
Yes.
And that person would write you some prescriptions?
Yes, ma'am.
And why would you be in need of prescription medication?
I'm a recovering drug addict.
Did she tell you that if you were to be released that you could make these phone calls, including this phone call to Dr. Obed?
Yes.
Okay, and how were you going to get these other items, like the $10,000?
The money would be through something called Zelle.
Okay, and who was going to send the money through Zelle?
Harvey.
That's her husband, Harvey Adelson?
Yes.
And how are you supposed to contact Harvey Adelson?
Through a phone app called Signal.
Okay, had you ever heard of the phone app Signal before?
No, ma'am.
Okay, one moment, please, Your Honor. No further questions at this time, Judge.
Cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor, just a moment.
So before you cross, please approach.
Now, you testified that you haven't been promised anything, correct?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that you were released from jail on February 11th,
Yes,
2020? 2025 as a result of your cooperation in this matter?
I don't know if it was a result of my cooperation, but yes, that's when I was released.
Okay. And so you met with law enforcement. In fact, you sent a letter to a Detective Turner in December of 2024, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you said that you had information about Donna Adelson, correct?
Correct.
And that you cooperated in the past and you wanted to do it again.
Correct.
And then as a result of that, on December 18th, Detective Turner came and met with you.
Correct.
And you spoke with him about this matter.
Yes, sir.
And then on December 20th, you were taken up to the state attorney's office to meet with the state attorney's office, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then as a result of that conversation, on February 11th, you were released.
I don't know if that's how it works.
Okay. Now, I want to back up a little bit. You've met prior to being rearrested in September of 2024. You knew Patricia Byrd, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Were you guys friends on the outside?
No.
Just on the inside?
Yes, sir.
But you've been friendly before?
Friendly, I suppose, for jail.
Now, when you first met with law enforcement, or the state attorney's office on December 20th of 2024, towards the end of that conversation, you said to them, "Did I do a good job?" Isn't that true?
Yes, it is.
Now, when you met with them on that day, the offer that you'd had at that point was 5 to 6 years in prison, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I want to back up a little bit. That violation of probation, you originally put on that probation September 1st of 2023, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And at that point in time, isn't it true that you qualified for enhanced sentencing?
If you're talking about the PRR, is that what you're talking about? I'm not sure.
Did you qualify as a PRR sentence?
I think it was actually past the 3 years.
Okay. I'm going to approach, and I'll have this marked for identification purposes. Judgment and sentence that was rendered on September 1st of 2023. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
And it indicates that you qualify for PRR sentencing, but the state is waiving it at that time, correct?
Okay. Yes, it does say that.
And so this is a judgment and sentence or conviction for 1 count of burglary of an occupied dwelling and 1 count of burglary of a dwelling, 2 counts of burglary of a conveyance. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And PRR sentencing means that when you commit a qualifying offense within 3 years of your release from prison, the court has to sentence you to the maximum sentence day for day unless you have a plea agreement that says otherwise, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that would mean that this sentence, the court would have to sentence you to 15 years day for day in prison, correct?
If I went to trial, yes, sir.
If you didn't have this plea agreement.
Yes, sir.
But you did have this plea agreement
Yes.
and you were put on probation.
Yes, sir.
Now, it specifically says if you violate probation, they can reimpose the prison releasee reoffender sentence. Is that correct?
Yes.
Unfortunately, you did violate that probation, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. And on June 18th of 2024, probation officer signed an affidavit of violation because you started using again, correct?
Yes, sir.
You were rearrested. You didn't go back to prison, did you?
No,
You got a chance for more treatment, didn't you?
I did.
Now, originally in that 2023 sentence, you did an inpatient program,
Yes, at Sisters in Sobriety.
and you completed that.
I did.
Here, when you were reinstated in July of 2024, you were stepped down to outpatient, correct?
Yes, sir.
You didn't report to probation, did you?
No,
You started using again.
I did.
and you strung your probation officer along, lying to them.
I don't think I did that, but
You did not make yourself available for supervision.
no, I didn't.
You didn't follow instructions,
I just didn't go.
and you also didn't test.
I didn't go, correct.
And so then you are rearrested, not just for the violation of probation, but also for a new felony charge. Correct?
What's the new felony charge?
Burglary of a conveyance.
Okay, yes, correct.
And so in September of 2024, when you were rearrested for violating probation and the new burglary charge, that point in time, you are facing 15 years mandatory day-for-day sentencing, unless you can reach an agreement with the state.
Correct,
And then you meet Donna Adelson,
correct.
your get out of jail free card.
I don't have an answer to that.
And you befriended her.
We became friends, yes.
And you would ask her questions about her case.
No, I didn't ask her questions about her case. She offered it to me and I would listen to her.
So it's your testimony here today that you did not ask her questions.
I can't remember. I may have asked her one or two. I mean, we were locked up for a long time, but I didn't go to her constantly and asking her questions, no.
Just a moment.
Before you ask your next questions, please make sure it's sufficiently clear as it relates to matters that have been ruled upon.
Yes, sir, and that's exactly what I'm having ensure done. Okay. So, if you didn't reach an agreement with the state, the court would have to sentence you to 15 years, day for day.
If I went to trial and was found guilty, yes.
So that your understanding is if you went to trial, you would face 15 years, day for day.
If I was found guilty, yes.
Okay. So we're talking about a violation of probation. You go to a VOP hearing. You've already testified that you started using again.
Yes,
You didn't show up for probation.
correct.
Okay. So if you went to court without an agreement, you would have to be sentenced to 15 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, isn't it true that when you went to meet with law enforcement on December 20th of 2024, you made sure a couple days prior to this to sit down in a location in the pod and engage in a lengthy conversation with Donna Adelson, correct?
No, actually, the pod, you can see, the whole pod is visible.
Isn't it true that you told them that you made sure that you sat where a camera could catch you while you sat with my client going over paperwork?
Yes,
Okay. And you wanted them to make sure that they could get video of you with my client.
yes.
Just a moment, Your Honor. Did you tell my client she was naive about jail?
That she was naive about jail?
Yes.
Meaning that she just wasn't aware of what went on in jail?
Yes.
I may have. I don't remember.
Now let's talk about that video. I believe the state's going to be introducing that a little bit later. Now, describe for the jury how it came to be that my client wrote down the script that they've introduced into evidence.
How it came to be?
Yes.
Donna wrote it, and she and I were supposed to go over it and practice it.
During that time that you were sitting there, did you write anything down?
I may have colored or written something, but I honestly don't remember.
Did you take things out of the notebook that you'd already written and show them to her?
Probably, maybe. I don't know. I honestly don't remember. It's been a while.
So you don't remember telling her what to write?
No, I didn't tell her what to write.
Your testimony here today is that you never told her what to write.
Yes.
Okay. That's the one thing you are sure about here today. Just a moment, Your Honor.
Redirect examination.
Were you ever advised to say anything other than the truth here today?
No.
You have a lawyer that's representing you on your criminal cases, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
he's working with the prosecutor on that case, not me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
To try to get you some kind of deal, not 15 years maximum penalty, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and before your most recent release, you had a five-year plea offer at some point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and as we sit here today, do you have a plea offer?
No.
Okay, so you're waiting to get a new plea offer
Yes,
from
ma'am.
somebody, not me,
Correct.
hoping that maybe it will be better than what it would otherwise be based on this information.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you had already provided that script to us before this most recent release and this most recent violation, and now you're going to have to deal with accountability for that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that script, it was suggested like, oh, you told her what to write. Did you even know any of that story
No.
to tell her?
No, ma'am.
No further questions.
You may step down. Will this witness be recalled by the party? Ms. Bernhardt, you remain under your subpoena. Do not discuss your testimony with any other person. Please call your next witness, State.
Kate Butler.